Algebra 1, EOC Star Review, Category 1. We're looking at page 6, Polynomial Operations, page 6. So now it looks like we are adding and subtracting some polynomials. Go ahead and separate completely the thought process of laws of exponents. Laws of exponents and adding, subtracting is completely different. Okay, we are not using the laws of exponents. We are simply adding, subtracting polynomials and thinking about combining like terms, which means they have the same base and the same exponent. X's go with X's, Y's go with Y's, Z's go with Z's, and so on. So in this example, it looks like we have three binomials being subtracted and added. When we subtract, remember we're going to go ahead and put an understood one and distribute it or multiply it through that polynomial. So we would get -1 times 1/5 x, -1/5 x, and -1 times positive 5/12 is -5/12 y. The other two binomials we'll just bring straight down. And now we'll look to combine like terms. So I have three x terms. And now with alpha of y equals 1, we can combine these. So I have 2 minus alpha y equals 1 to get 1/5 plus alpha y equals 1 to get the 1/6. So we get the fraction 59 over 30 when we combine the x terms. So 59 over 30x. Now we have three terms that we have not done anything with, and it just so happens that all three of these terms have a y attached. So those are like terms. We will combine them. Make sure when you're combining like terms, you are taking the sign in front of each term. So that's a positive 3/4. Look at that as a negative 5/12 or minus 5/12, and the minus of 2/3. Once again, our calculator will do this for us. In our home screen, we can type in alpha y equals 1, 3/4, minus alpha y equals 1, 5/12, and minus alpha y equals 1, 2/3. A lot of fractions there. But we get the output of negatives, so we would write minus 1/3 y. That is our simplified polynomial. Example number 2. The only difference here, we also have a couple subtractions, so we're going to deal with those first by distributing. Remember, if there's not a coefficient in front of the parentheses, we can put an understood 1. We also have 3.6 outside of parentheses, the first set of parentheses we have to distribute it through as well. So quick couple multiplication steps. Make sure you're not forgetting your variables. The x term, x stays attached, y stays attached. Can't just do away with it. Negative times a -8. A lot of mistakes are made here. Make sure you're watching your signs. Negative times a negative is where we get the positive 8. Negative 2.5 times 6. Calculator would give us 15x. And then a negative 2.5 times 2.4y is negative 6y. Once we've done our distributing or 6 multiplication problems right there, we're going to combine like terms. So I'm going to find all my x's. There's 3 of them. And we can simply type that into our calculator. Our 3 remaining terms are all y terms, so those are like terms, and we can also combine those. Once again, it is very important that you look at each term and make sure, am I adding, is it subtracting? So it would be 15.12 plus 8 minus 6. Example 3, we have a distributing step. Looks like we have a monomial, what we call one term outside parentheses, times a trinomial. So we can just do a quick distributing step here. Now, since we're multiplying, we do use laws of exponents. On 1 and 2, when we're just adding and subtracting, we did not. But we are multiplying when we distribute, so x to the first times x squared is x to the third. Negative 2 times 3 is where they get the negative 6. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. X times x is x squared. And then the last distributing step, negative 2 times negative 11 is positive 22. But we cannot forget the x attached. Cannot simplify this any further. X to the third, x squared, and an x term. Those are not the same base and exponent. Not like terms. That is your simplified answer. Number 4, looks like we have a binomial times a binomial. we looked at using the box method when we're multiplying polynomials, so we could set it up as such: 3x minus 2 times 7x plus 6. 3x times 7x is 21x squared. 7x times the negative 2, negative 14x. We're multiplying these outsides. 3x times 6 is 18x. And to multiply our last two would be negative 2 times positive 6. Not quite finished here. These four terms inside the box, we have to see if any of them are like terms. So let's go ahead and bring down the x squared. It's all alone. But these two, 18x and negative 14x, will combine to give you a positive 4x. And then the constant at the end, negative 12, is brought down. So there is our product, or our trinomial. 3a plus 4 squared, well, that's the exact same thing. Same thing as saying 3a plus 4 times 3a plus 4. We're just going to multiply it by itself. So once again, we can set up our box method. 3a times 3a, 9a squared. 3a times 4, that dropped in a little earlier, but 3a times 4 is 12a. 3a times 4 is 12a. And then 4 times 4 should give us a positive 16. Once again, we'll bring down the 9a squared. Combine like terms, 12 plus 12 is 24a. And then the constant is brought down to the end.